In a previous video, we explored how to create progress bars using JavaScript and GSAP in Storyline 360, tracking user progress through projects based on the slides they visited. Today, we're taking it up a notch. Have you ever wondered how you could integrate progress bars into your e-learning modules to make them more gamified? Well, wonder no more, because we're gonna create just that with a bit of JavaScript. The goal of this will be to replicate progress bars like this one from Duolingo, which fills up every time the user submits a correct answer, visually conveying to the user a sense of accomplishment and progression. That's the vibe we're going for. So, here's the plan. I take a shape and turn it into my progress bar. When the timeline starts on a slide, I show how many points the user gained so far. Once the user answers a question correctly, I add a set number of points to the user's existing points, then update the progress bar to reflect the user's progress. If a user has 1,000 points or more, the user gains a new level. The level text increases and the progress bar changes in order to reflect the new threshold. It might sound easy, but it takes a bit of setup. Let's set the scene in Storyline. I've crafted a mini project here which has an intro slide, a question bank with 10 multiple choice questions, and an end slide showcasing the user's final level. It's divided into 3 scenes, with the question bank positioned right here in the second scene. To keep things simple, I created a master template for the quiz slides. On it, I display the current slide number and the total slides in my scene. And I'm also gonna use this to place my progress bar. So let's start by adding a dark rectangle serving as the progress bar's background. This will show how long the progress bar is supposed to be even when it's empty. Then I'm gonna duplicate this rectangle and color it yellow, and this will represent the moving part of our progress bar, the part we are actually gonna animate. And I'm also going to add some text indicating the user's current level. Oh, and I also modified the template for the correct and incorrect layers here in the feedback master. I used the modern feedback master and set the slide background to no fill, and removed all elements from this layer because I'm gonna manually place check marks for correct and incorrect options. Before moving to our JavaScript code, we need a few other variables in Storyline, aside from the current level variable, which shows the current level the user is at. I need a number variable to record how many experience points the user gains by answering each question right. I've chosen to grant the user the same amount of points for each correct answer, which is 300 XP points. Now I need a number variable to show how many points you have to gain in each level in order to move to the next level. I have set a default value of 1,000 experience points required for each level. Then I need a way to track how many points the user has gained in total, and a way to track how many points are displayed on the progress bar. If I have 900 XP points and gain 300 more, I move up a level and I'm left with 200 XP points. So whether I put them, I need to show them in my variable which tracks how many points are displayed on the progress bar. And that's all we need in terms of Storyline variables. Here they are. Good. Now let's get technical. With JavaScript, we'll breathe life into our progress bar. Here's the breakdown. First, we select our progress bar element and fetch Storyline variables for required and displayed points. Using GSAP, we scale the progress bar to reflect the user's progress, ensuring it fills up proportionally. We calculate the scale beforehand by dividing these two values, which will result in a number between 0 and 1. So let's run through this with an example. If a user starts at level 1 with 300 points out of 1000, the progress bar will scale to 30%. Cool, we are halfway done. Now we have to do the following. When the user answers a question correctly, we update the points, calculate the new level, and adjust the progress bar accordingly. And for a touch of flair, a micro animation highlights the level change and draws the user's attention that their level has increased. I'm using the correct feedback layer in the feedback master to do this. And I added an execute JavaScript trigger here that runs when the timeline starts on this layer. So here's the code we're gonna run in this. First, we're selecting the elements and getting the variables. We are selecting the progress bar and the level text by using their accessibility attributes. Then we're fetching various variables from storyline, such as the required points to level up, the currently displayed points, the gain points, the total user points, and the current level. Then we're updating points and levels. We're adding the gained points to both the displayed and the total user points. We calculate how many levels the user has gained based on their displayed points divided by the required points for each level. We then update the current level accordingly. Then we do the animation for the level change. If the user has gained at least one level, we apply a quick scaling animation to the level text for emphasis. Now we're adjusting the displayed points so we can update our progress bar. We check if the displayed points exceed the required points for leveling up. And if they do, we subtract the required points from the displayed points to represent progress to the next level. And finally, we calculate the new scale for the progress bar based on the updated displayed points. And we animate the progress bar to reflect this new scale over a duration of 1 second, which creates a smooth animation. And we're done! We now have a nice little quiz that features a progress bar. When the user submits a correct answer, they gain points, and the progress bar fills up. When the user gains more than 1000 points, they get a new level. As I said, this can be a really cool addition to your e-learning modules if you want to visually show progression and impart a sense of achievement. But there are some drawbacks to this method. If your project has a question bank like mine has, and the users can't jump back and revisit previous questions, you're in the clear. But if your questions or the slides you use to add points are scattered throughout your module, tread lightly. If your slide is set to reset to its initial state, users can answer the same question multiple times to gain points. So you might think that setting the slide to resume saved state solves this, but it doesn't, because the triggers will still fire on the base layer and on the correct layer if the correct layer is the last layer to be shown before moving to the next slide. So what I recommend you do is either set the triggers to execute only once, or hide the layer which you use to add points before moving on to the next slide. That way, when the user revisits the question, you won't risk them getting undeserved points. So by integrating this sort of dynamic progress bar, you can not only help your users level up, but you can also level up your e-learning modules, and you can also level up yourself and your skills. I hope you liked this experiment. A special thanks goes out to the viewer who suggested this scenario. Thank you for watching.